Well, hello, wealthy women. I have another amazing success story to share with you. This one is going to be really, really impactful. It will help you in all parts of your life, and I just can't wait. So, rather than me telling you all about it, I'm going to pass the mic over to Marla, and she's going to share who she is, what she does, why it's her passion, and where you can find more of her work. And then we'll go ahead, like get into our success questions and have another great success story coming your way right now. Okay,
Thank
Marla,
you.
take it away.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Marla Osner, and I'm actually a nurse practitioner by trade. And about 13 years ago, I had gotten a divorce. I had lost a child with $120,000 in debt. And I moved home with my parents at the ripe age of 30 and was mortified, overweight, just the whole nine yards. And so, what brought me to where I am now is financial coaching for women who were just like me. I crawled my way out. It took me a good 7 years to learn about debt management, about finding confidence and happiness and health. And so I've taken all of that information and I started helping friends and family. And then after a while, I was like, so many women need this information. Like, why are we not getting this in school? And why are we not learning about, how financial independence is so key to our success as women, in our daily lives, our work lives, everything. And so I've put these classes together that show women how to go about getting out of debt, how to build confidence around money management, how to move forward from failing. And failure is part of our everyday life. So, learning how to take that and run with it instead of letting it hold you back is so incredibly important. And that's how happy, healthy, wealthy women came about. And that's my passion is getting people from A to D, where they're, behind, to financially fit and wealthy and independent and happy. And I love it. I love watching the transformations, just like all of your transformations that you have with business.
It's amazing what you're doing because it's very much it's definitely a focus on money, but the holistic effect that has, it just brings better life experience overall. It's like when you
Absolutely.
succeed at one thing, it has an effect on everything else in your life, which is
Mhm.
a nice thing, knowing that you're making improvements that are serving you more than the initial way that you just thought about. It's helping you in so many other ways. And now, where
Absolutely.
can people find you when they want to go ahead and search? And maybe you can share like a couple ideas about some of the offers that you have and then where they can find you.
Absolutely. So we always have one-to-one coaching, and that's great for some people in the beginning so that they can really get a key in into how they can manage their finances. But we also have a self-paced class. We have three of them: one for debt management, one that goes into basic tax advantage savings accounts like your 401k, your Roth, your traditional IRAs, which all sound like very big, scary words, but I break it down super simple so that everybody understands it. And then we have a wealth building class. And each of those self paced classes comes along with group coaching calls every month. Um, they're really not just about the money. Again, it all goes into the mindset about how to build your confidence, about, happiness and health and how the brain works and how we can work on time management, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so it's not just about managing the money, it's about managing your brain, your mindset, managing your day-to-day life and the stressors that come along with being a woman, a wife, a mom, an executive female in a male dominated world. So there's tons of information there to help with those things also. So there are big four offers. We do have a couple other little things here and there. We have some papers that you can buy just to kind of self-pace yourself, even at a slower pace. We have I like to call it Mommy and Me, but really it's for teenage young ladies who are, going out into the world and their moms to come together as women and to better understand their finances, which I just love because it's something I didn't get as a kid. So I think it's a really good bonding opportunity and learning experience. And all of that is at wealthywomencoaching.com, where you can find us and learn more about all of these products that we have available.
Wow, I love this because this is there many of the things that you are able to share your work about and help others are things that women sometimes shy away from, and we don't want them to feel, uncomfortable, and you just have created such beautiful programs that are it's kind of light and bright and fun, and though they're very important materials, it's not like that old, idea of a stuffy, corporate room with a, man in a suit saying all
Yes,
the big words where you're just getting bored over, and but you have made it so accessible and so helpful in a way that all of us women need to do, because this is our financial health. This is where we get to build our financial strength, with which gives us freedom, which gives us choices and opportunities. And
absolutely.
yes, to be in charge of our own financial independence is everything, because this is where choice happens. This is where you can decide whatever you want to decide in your life. And I love that you are fostering this. And I'm truly excited about this mommy and me. This is huge, because now you're
Yes,
going to break cycles where, you know, why do we have to learn so late in life? Let's teach our young
yes,
daughters right away, right? So
yeah.
that's
The
fantastic.
sooner we start investing, the sooner we're financially free. And you're 100% right. It's freedom of choice and freedom of time. You don't have to be tied to a desk 9 to 5, and that's really, I mean, living life is what's important, not existing to work your 9 to 5. So,
Yes, it's not about surviving, it's about thriving, right? And you have to
yes,
put those foundational pieces into place. But once they're in place, and you can go on with your life and know that you are having all of your ducks in a row and taking care of building a proper foundation for yourself. So I love this. And
absolutely.
your mission basically came from, you had to go through something and you were like, I don't want to have to go through this again. I'm going to set myself up properly. And
Yes,
so by transforming your own story, you were like, this is fantastic. I need to share this and help others. And I love this because this is so often how many of us women business owners get into our mission work, basically our passion projects, is we fall down, we skin our knees, then we figure out how to heal ourselves. And then once we're healed, we're like, wow, I have to share this so someone else doesn't have to suffer what I went through, right? It's,
absolutely. And it's about sustainability, quickly. I when I was learning, I was going forward and then I was falling backwards again. And it, like I said, it's about taking the failure and learning from it and moving on, and then finding the sustainable answers and roots and habits that are going to keep you moving forward instead of consistently falling backward.
yes, yes. And sometimes it takes a couple times, and that's okay.
It's okay.
As long as you're paying attention. I always like that saying, fail forward, right?
Absolutely.
Because if you're not
Absolutely.
failing at all, you're not doing anything, and
You're not
that's a
trying
problem.
hard enough.
Yeah, you're not
Exactly.
trying hard enough. So, okay, so I love this. I love what you're doing. I love your mission. It's very endearing to my heart because I am like
Right.
all about women's financial empowerment.
Yes.
You go through some things and then you get your education, and then you take your skill set and you try and help others, and you know that you're doing good in the world, and you are exactly on the same path, and I love it. So the more we can help women with money, right, improvements,
Absolutely.
the better. So okay, so what we're going to do now is our success questions round. So this is so helpful because it inspires other women who are either just starting out or hit a slump in their business, or even if they're you know well versed in their business and they're just needing a little inspiration. So I kind of gear my questions that your insights and your answers are definitely a helpful reflection for others. So let's
Sure.
see. The first one is, um, why would you encourage another woman to build her own business in relation to empowerment that can come from that?
This is so good. So you do, we just talked about failure, right? And it is terrible to feel failure. Okay. But one thing about building your own business is that you learn to take those failures and to grow from them. And then that feeling of accomplishment after you've done something and you're like struggling and struggling with it. And then all of a sudden you get it and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. Like, look at what I just did. And building a business is it's not fast, it's not easy, it is not for the faint of heart. I mean, I have 3 degrees that I got through. And in the beginning of building this business, I was like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you don't know anything about marketing, but as time has gone by, I've learned, I've studied, and that feeling of success, even the little ones are just incredible. And they move me to keep going and to move forward and to produce more. So I think having your own business, it teaches you to manage time. It teaches you to keep moving forward, persevere, to find the answers, to MacGyver if you have to. I don't, maybe I'm dating myself here.
No.
But, MacGyvering, whatever you need to do to just keep that one foot in front of the other.
I love this. And it's so true. I think owning your own business is one of the best educational experiences you can go through, and human growth potential. And like you said, finding pride in yourself and learning to give yourself a break and recognize how far you have come, because we're always
Exactly.
sometimes focused on where we need to go instead of where we came from. And we need to give
Mhm.
ourselves some credit for all that we have achieved. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's hard
So
to look
any
back.
it is. So you have me laughing about the MacGyver situation. So basically, it was an American TV show with a man who could basically fix anything or solve any problem, and his name was MacGyver. And typically, when we ourselves find our ways to fix things in the house or our business and ourselves and help other people or whatever we call it, we got to MacGyver the situation. So that's for you newbies who don't know the old classic TVs, but it's a good show.
So
Okay,
funny.
so let's see. The next question I had is, I like to call them wealthy woman habits, but what empowering routines do you follow each and every day? Maybe it's a morning routine. What is like something or things that you need to do every day to kind of set yourself in the proper way?
Perfect. So I was not a routine person for a very long time. I was like a get up, throw some clothes on and run out the door to work. It being in scrubs when I worked was very easy to do that. But now, actually, I am an early riser. So there's the 5 a.m. club, and I truly, truly believe in it. I have a 13-year-old, I have a husband. So getting up at 5 a.m. and washing my face, brushing my teeth, I come out to the kitchen, I set up my manifestation journal where I praise everything. I thankful for everything that I have. I put the things that I'm looking forward to. So, one of them is that I will be the CEO of a multi-million dollar evergreen company. I will be on 12 stages a year. And so I put those manifestations out there every day. And then I work for them. I put the effort in to try and get there. And so one day they'll happen. So I journal every morning for gratitude, for manifestation, and then coffee, because I don't know about you, but coffee.
Oh yeah.
And then a workout, whether it be a stretching, whether it be weightlifting, whether I go for a walk, whatever it is, we got to get the blood pumping and moving. And that just really like helps wake me up and get my brain going. And then I pull out the laptop. And that's where I start just putting all of my thoughts down, things that I want to grow upon, things that I want to add to the courses. And by that time, it's 7 a.m. I get everybody up and fed and out the door, and then I'm out the door.
There you go. I love that. That is really the 5 a.m. club. I did do this for a while, and it really is amazing
Yes,
at how long your day is. And you're like, wow, I still have so much time. And look at all I have accomplished. And it's only 8 a.m. and I've accomplished all that. So
it's a
it's a
great
really,
feeling.
it really is a great feeling. I go back and forth with it. Zoe?
It's quiet.
Oh, it's quiet.
Everybody's sleeping.
Yes, exactly. That is very true. We can really think, right? And
Yes,
I imagine, especially when you have kids in the house, that's a beautiful feeling to just have your space, right? I
spacing.
love it.
Yes.
I love it. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you, next question is,
Sure.
how do you deal with fear and doubt? Especially, for example, when it comes to being visible online. I mean, now we are pretty much, if we're business owners and our audience is somewhere on social media, we almost have to get very comfortable with getting in front of a camera. And I know women in the beginning tend to struggle with this, and maybe you have some success tips for how to overcome the fear.
You just have to do it, and I hate saying it like that because I was that person. I am like the introverted extrovert, I day to day at work, I talk to people all the time. I have these conversations, but getting in front of a camera and essentially talking to yourself in the beginning, because, I don't know about when you started, but I would go live and there would be nobody watching.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting there talking to myself like, "Hmm, yeah, no, there's nobody here." But the more you do it, the more comfortable that you get with it. And, then people start showing up for you because you're showing up for them on a regular basis. And once they start seeing that, they start interacting and engaging. And once you get that engagement, I think that's really where the comfort starts to come in because you just have a natural flow. If you're just yourself and you just kind of have a conversation and don't make it a thing, it becomes so much easier.
It's so true what you say because prior to the idea of going live on camera, pretty much we do our business or conversations face to face, and never really feel uncomfortable. And then it was this idea that I think what you're saying, because it feels like you're talking to yourself. And you need that practice. And I do believe it's like once you kind of get over the first couple tries, you kind of relax into it. But I had a follow-up question. I actually have not asked anybody this before, but it makes me think to ask it because I know a lot of women are very afraid of maybe that there's someone that's going to have a really negative comment or really out of sorts. It doesn't even make sense for them to get this comment, but they know it's kind of recorded there, right? For other people to see or
Mhm.
maybe make judgments about because this person said something. It's I kind of feel at this point to you have to expect it and it is what it is and just push past it and don't even pay attention, sort of like almost celebrities in Hollywood have to when you think about it, right? But
Yeah.
what's your advice for that? Like people that are definitely feeling like or even when you find it the first time and you read something that is just hurtful to you. Any thoughts on how to get through that or over that or handle that or
Yeah. So anytime you're doing something big, you're going to have haters. So if
mm,
you're having haters, you're already getting big. So just
yeah.
take that and know and run with it and say, I already have haters. Like look at Taylor Swift, right? I mean, she's got the haters like
Shake it off, shake
crazy.
it off. Yeah.
Shake it off. Shake it off. So if you have people coming at you and they really care that much that they want to post on whatever it is that you have, you got haters, girl, you're already up there. So just move
I
on, shake it
love
off.
it's a great way to reframe the whole thing that can turn that negative into such a positive where you really can just feel relaxed about. I love the way that you just said that. That's so true. And yeah, we all know Taylor Swift, so nobody's being dated here now. Shake it off,
Shake
like
it
it's
off.
all good. I actually love that song. It's a great song too.
And I
So
think too, just, not responding and stooping
yeah,
to that level is so important.
yeah.
Thank you so much for your consideration, your comment, I feel differently, or just don't respond at
Or
all.
just leave it. Yeah,
Let it
yeah, I
go.
love it. Just keep moving forward, basically, and
Keep
know that
moving
you're on the right
forward.
track if someone is basically giving you a hard time.
Mhm.
That's good
Yep.
because I do think that's one of the bigger fears. So,
Yeah.
my next question is bigger one. What practices do you suggest for other people that are wanting to get in touch with their soul's purpose? They know they want to do something big in the world, or maybe they have been, but they feel like they're being there's something not moving properly and they want to reconnect and know what it is. Do you have any advice for them on how they can reconnect to their soul's
I
desires?
do. So it's funny. When I was a nurse practitioner in the emergency room, I was talking to a young lady and she was feeling very lost. Family, kids, everything, but she just was like, what's next for me? After my divorce, I really truly decided to travel by myself. I went a few places. I cannot say enough about solo travel.
Hmm.
I feel like you can unplug, you can drop the laptop, drop the phone, take a book, find somewhere, either, walk Italy, go to Iceland, find a beach. You don't even have to go far, honestly. You don't have to spend a lot of money or go far, but spending time with yourself and really getting comfortable spending time with yourself in your own head, journaling, writing down your thoughts, just being open to whatever comes. Like, don't be rational. I think sometimes we get that hyper rational, like, I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. Don't figure it out. There's nothing to figure out right now. Just let your brain sort of dump everything out. And I usually say at least 72 hours, because that first 24 hours, your nervous system is just trying to decompress, right? And then you have that 48 and 72-hour mark, and then you got to travel. So at least 72 hours of just relaxation and, thinking, getting in your own head, but not like too deep, if that makes sense. And then
Yes,
just letting
yes.
it all out, just dump it out on paper. And once you're done, you can go back and look at that and really extract, well, this is really important to me, or this is really important to me, and then move forward from there. But solo travel, 100% is the answer.
Well, you are speaking my language. I love that you said that because I am all about travel and I have backpacked through Europe twice, like for long
Amazing.
extensions of time. And I truly believe that the two best ways to truly get to know yourself and become empowered is through opening your own business and traveling. I
I
agree
agree.
with you. And I also love this idea that you just said, the whole solo travel thing, because even from an early age, I just somehow knew it was so important for me to be able to go to dinner by myself, to go dancing by
Yes.
myself, to go to the movies by myself, to live on my own by myself, to travel by myself. I didn't have to do any of that, but I wanted to because
Yes.
it was just this real sense. I wanted to know who I was. I wanted to even sit in the uncomfortable because then I could
Absolutely.
grow through it. And I never wanted to have to rely on needing something outside of myself, because there are times in life when you have it, the outside with you, but then
Yep.
sometimes you're alone. And if you haven't learned those skill sets to just be just joyful in your own company, I think it's a big, it's a big thing that you should really try to be comfortable with. So yes, so and like you said, it doesn't have to be these gigantic trips. It can be a staycation. It can be
Yep.
going into your town and having lunch by yourself. And it'll really teach you to get to enjoy, your own self and focus on what you like and what you don't like, which like you said will help you get in touch with your soul's purpose, right?
Yes. And I think too, if you cannot be happy alone, finding somebody to make you happy will never end well. So you really have to be at a point in your life where you're happy with yourself and you're happy alone before you seek somebody to be happy with, because it's being happy with them, not them making you happy. And so I think that's really important too. I think we get that wrong because we see these, beautiful movies, and the Prince Charming comes along and he makes her so happy, but no, you have to be happy with yourself first.
Absolutely. Which kind of leads into I'm a little sidetracking here, but it makes me think of the idea of detachment, which is such an empowering tool. And it can go along everything, whether it is like knowing that you're okay on your own and happy, that you don't need anybody else. If somebody came into your life and they're there, that is fantastic. If for some reason it had to change, to be okay with the detachment. Even when we get into business, sometimes, especially in the beginning, when we're growing a business, we're like, oh wow, this is new and I it's my total passion, but at the same time I have to make a sale, and you kind of get a little bit crazy about, I need the sale, I need the sale. But that is just, it's going to block everything from flowing beautifully and naturally, and you have to detach. And major empowerment comes from letting it go, detaching, what is will be, what is meant for me will be. And it gives you this feeling of, really just confidence where you can march forward, right? It
I
shows up in
agree.
every area. Yeah.
Every area. I just had a conversation, well, just, but I was talking to my boss, the guy who runs our company and my day-to-day, 9 to 5 company. And we were talking about this business, this wealthy women and, et cetera. And he said, Marla, what happens when you become an entrepreneur? And if something doesn't work out, what do you do with that? And so we just were having this discussion. And I thought, well, I've done these classes and I'm going to teach people this and that. And he said, but what happens if in a year it dies off? And I said, well, I guess I'll start something different. And he said, think of it differently. He's like, think about it in a year. If something happens and it dies off, you've now produced all of this information that you can be proud of, that you can give away to people if something should happen and you can't run the business anymore, whatever. So I think thinking of it that way, where you're not attached to the success or the outcome, but that you've produced something, that you've followed a dream, that you've, um, done something for other people, I just it completely changed the way I was thinking about this whole business model. I mean,
Oh,
of course, success is important, right?
right.
But in
Right.
the end, what happens if you're not successful? Well, you've still done and followed your dream and you've produced something that, maybe could be helpful, not in a business model. And so I think that that detachment from it of being success or failure is very important.
Wow, what an enlightened gentleman, let us first say. Bravo to that. That's a good person to hang your hat around. So that's fantastic and absolutely true because it's about service, right? When we're really in touch with our mission in life, it's really how can we help others? And
Exactly.
yes, our goal, of course, is to have a thriving business so that we can keep doing what we do best and serving and
Absolutely.
helping. But like you said, you know that you are just offering value in the world, however that
Absolutely.
shows up. And it's actually funny because, the title of this whole series is Success Stories. And I've had a couple of people, say, I would love to be a part of this, but I'm not really a success yet. I'm just starting out or something. And I'm like, no, that is
That is
success.
it
The
is.
fact that you are following your dream, even if you're at the very first step, that's success. Even my company name, Wealthy Woman Every Day, it is not about the wealth I'm talking about is that holistic wealth, the
It's
joy, the
not money.
happiness, the health. It's part money, definitely, but
Yeah.
it's not all of it.
Yeah.
There's a whole difference. So I love this. I really, really love it.
Yeah.
So this actually can probably go right into our next question a little bit. How do you define success and what does a successful day in your life look like?
Okay. So defining success, I think, is so hard, to be quite frank with you. I don't know that there is one single definition of success. I think that every day that you move forward is a successful day. I do think to feel successful, you have to give back and not just in your business. So, one thing that I do that makes me feel like I have made it, if you will, is I volunteer. So, I volunteer with Habitat for Humanity to do coaching with them for finances for women. I also volunteer, I'm on a board of a amazing entrepreneur. He's 14 years old and he has a 503c and he builds bikes for kids that are less fortunate. So I think that mindset of giving back to people really helps you feel the success in your heart versus just a X amount of sales or, you know, you have been on 12 stages. I mean, those are great things, but I think those everyday little successes are so important to make you feel like you're progressing forward.
I love it. It's kind of like that pay it forward mentality. And that's really
Absolutely.
where the fulfillment comes in. Yeah, I love that. So beautiful, beautiful. Next question. What is your number one professional tip for women to grow their businesses?
Oh, consistency,
Ah,
100%. Just be consistent. It will take time. If you fall back, pick it back up and just continue to be consistent every day, showing up for yourself, showing up for your business, showing up for your clients.
Yes, I love that. Consistency is key. It
It is
really
key.
is. And sometimes I have struggled for my own personal self. I would make these gigantic to-do lists, and then I would have those days where it was no problem, but then I would have the days that interruptions would happen, or I was
Yeah.
just something was off, it wasn't flowing for me. And then I started to realize, I said, okay, I know consistency is important, so I don't want to be the weekend warrior, so to speak.
Yes.
So what can I do? What do I feel comfortable with that I know that I can do basically every single day, that even if the day gets interrupted, or I'm just feeling a little off, I still can accomplish it? Because I wanted to have my days where I would look back and say, okay, it was a successful day. I accomplished basically what I set out to do, rather than sometimes having such a gigantic list, it felt overwhelming. So it's just a key that worked for me, because you know, there's always something you can do in your business. It sort of never ends, right? But at some
Yep.
point, you have to put some boundaries into place. So consistency with some, boundaries, so like the burnout doesn't come,
Yeah.
right? But yeah,
That's
yeah,
sustainability. So,
yes,
making
yes,
your three things that you're going to do every single day that you can check off, and then having your list for your list, right? Your secondary. If I can get this done, that's great.
yeah,
But if I just get these three things done every day for my business,
yeah,
I've done it. And so again, you're right. Consistency is what I said first, but honestly, sustainability is another one. You
yeah.
have to have a sustainable model.
Yes, because you want it to feel good, because yeah, I've been on both sides where like I know there's so much I have to do, and I put myself under the pressure, and then I all of a sudden I start to not feel so good about it. In one way I do, because I'm accomplishing a lot, but in another way it doesn't feel good, the journey of it, right? And
Correct.
I would have to stop, and I would say, like, well, wait a second. This is my business. I'm doing it because it makes me happy. I'm supposed to create it in a way that continues to make me happy, because if it makes me happy, I'll continue to want to do it instead of run away from it, right? So I had to
Absolutely.
learn that a little bit, like I always wish I could do 10 times more, but I am happy with, like, what you're saying. Like, do the top 3, and then if you can do more, right?
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's with
so
everything in life, not just business,
yeah.
honestly. Like, is the laundry really necessary today? If you have clean underwear, it's probably not. Move on to the next thing.
Exactly. Or just buy some new stuff, right?
I mean, or that.
Sometimes.
Go to the dollar store. I'm with you. Yeah.
Um, okay, one other question I have is, a lot of times in the beginning, because there's so many choices, how do you market your business? Is it Facebook ads? Do I go on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, this, that, the whole Instagram, the whole of it?
Mhm.
How would you suggest to someone maybe just starting out to market their business?
Don't spend any money, honestly. And that's from the financial advisor of me. I would say the first month or two, in terms of like Facebook ads, you can spend money on coaches or people to, guide you. I think that's a great idea. But in terms of actual ads, use your generic, your regular everyday people. So hit your Facebook, make a business Facebook page, hit your Instagram, make an Instagram business page, use your LinkedIn, use your Pinterest, use all of those things. And once you've decided that you can be consistent
Mhm.
and it's a sustainable model, that you're using, and that you can show up for yourself and your clients every single day for 2 or 3 months, then you can start looking at, do I run a Facebook ad? Do I run a challenge? Do I run, all different options out there? But if you can't show up for yourself and your client regularly, don't spend money on a Facebook ad. I mean, that's just silly. You
Yeah,
also really need to decide what your language is, what resonates with your people. So if you just throw a Facebook ad day one, you're not going to have the language that speaks to your people. You really need to do that sort of market research, have coffee dates with people where you're not trying to sell, but you're just getting their feedback. I
yes,
did
yes.
months of coffee dates to get wording, to get pain points from people, to, I lived it, but still my journey is different than other people's journey. So I needed to figure out what their setbacks were and their problems were so that I could actually speak to everyone and not just myself, if that makes
I
sense.
love that. That's absolutely great. Great advice. And also, I think, yeah, because you're still also just learning your own ebbs and flows of your business. And like you said, try out all of your social media platforms. And then you also might find that one works or two work better for you than another one. And then you can say, if you want, you can choose to spend
Focus.
more of your time on those, right? So
Yeah,
I love this. This is so helpful, this interview. It's definitely beautiful. Like all of this points that you're making are going to be so helpful. And so then I just have one last question for you. So
absolutely.
I am all about the mindset. But I also know the other parts are important too. But I'm just curious, do you agree that mindset is more important than systems and strategies, and why?
Yes. Mindset is probably the most important because you can have any system or strategy, but if you can't wire your brain to look at the positive and to follow through, to be consistent, it doesn't matter what system you have. I've had people offer to show me systems, and if I can't wrap my brain around it and I can't make it work for me, it's
Yeah.
useless. So understanding how you work, how your brain works, learning how to so we're wired for negativity, unfortunately. If you think about being a 2-year-old and you put your hand on the stove, you burn it and it's hot and you cry, that's negative feedback. And so we learned from that. That's how we survive as children. But as we get older, we're not taught how to rewire our brains for the positive because now we've learned all those life lessons and we should be moving on to thinking positively, but we still use that negative feedback. And that's how we sort of think in the negative. And so if we can learn to think in the positive, we can then you know pull out and figure out how our what system would work for us, and how we can use that to move forward. So if your mindset isn't there, you're not going to you're going to be all over the place, Harry Carey.
That's really valuable what you just said, that we really do have to overcome some natural born programming that
Yes,
it really takes mindfulness to be able to have a great mindset, right? And I love
absolutely.
that's one of the reasons I love a gratitude journal, because it forces you to focus on the positive, and then you feel much better. But you just don't arrive by doing it one or two times. It's that consistency.
It's
Yeah, it's a
every day.
constant practice. Yep,
Every day.
absolutely. Oh
Yep.
my goodness. So any last comments that or success tips that you'd like to share before we sign off? And don't forget, let everyone know again where they can find you and your work.
Yeah, so it's wealthywomencoaching.com. That is our website, easy peasy. We do have lots of information on there that you can just utilize straight up. And, as far as tips, I've said it, it's consistency, it's sustainability. Don't make it so hard that you can't keep up with it. It's the little tiny habits that you do every day that add up to big habits. It's the tiny goals that you set that add up to big goals. That's in finance, that's in daily life, that's in everything that you do. So if you do one thing one way, that's how you're going to do everything. And that's showing up for that is it's what's going to get you there.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. This is really a beautiful, beautiful interview with so many
Thank you.
success tips that are so you know, possible to make this happen. Little steps, like you said,
It's
create big
yes,
results, right? Exactly. So
absolutely.
well, women, please reach out to Marla. She is amazing. She has so many resources. She can help you in so many ways. And I hope that you have been inspired by this interview as much as I have. I know that, this is all of the great parts of being a business owner. We get to learn from each other, we get to work with each other, collaborate, grow our businesses, help other people, make a difference in the world. So, whatever is your passion in life, that desire was put in you because it is meant for you. So, you don't need to doubt it. Just keep moving forward. Don't worry always about the how and the when you will arrive. Enjoy the journey and just keep going for your dreams. And until next time, I wish you a wonderful day and talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, glasses on. All righty. Yes, let's see.